Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Theoni with Thrifty Divas. Let's make a cake. This is the morning of the party, 3 hours before it starts. All right, let's get into this cake, guys. So I have two 9-inch chocolate layer cakes cooked and cooled, and I'm just going to remove them from the pan and then level off the tops using a small wire cake level. Then I use my 10-inch cake board to slip that right in and remove the top. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the second cake. And the next thing I'm going to have to do after these layers are leveled off is I'm just going to put some icing into a piping bag with no tip, and I'm just going to snip the bottom off with scissors because I'm going to do what I like to call a dam around the border so that whatever filling I choose does not squish out when I put the top layer on. So when filling a cake, you should always put a dam of frosting in there, and it looks just like that. Not pretty, doesn't matter. So the next thing we're going to do, I decided to use a butterscotch pudding because I didn't have any vanilla, even though that's what my son requested, but I know he's going to love this anyway. So I always find that 2 little pudding cups like this is the perfect amount of filling for these 9-inch cakes. So I'm going to empty out the 2 butterscotch puddings on there and just smooth them out, being careful not to go over the dam or else the dam will be pointless. So you want to get it below the dam if you can, just like that. And then we're just going to go ahead once that's done and put the second layer on there. I usually make the bottom the top, but it doesn't matter on this cake because the top won't matter. You'll see it's going to be covered. And then I'm going to use my small angled frosting spatula to just put a light coat of icing around because this is going to be the glue for my fondant. So I don't care what this looks like either. I just want to make sure that it has a nice glue layer to put a border of fondant around the entire side of the cake. And now I'm going to smooth this all around so that it's not all bumpy when I put the fondant on. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put some on top because I need this as a glue as well. You will see why. So I'm getting some more just to finish covering the top. This does not have to be perfect, but it does have to be smooth. More to come, more to come. So now we just cover the top. Normally, if I was just icing a cake, I always start with the top. That is how I was taught by Wilton. And that is how I teach when I teach Wilton instruction as well. But this is not icing a normal cake right now, so that's why I'm doing it. But I know people differ in this, but really, you should dump all your frosting on the top, smooth it out, and go around the sides. But this is a very special circumstance. So let's get this boring part done, and then we can move on to some of the fun stuff. So I'm going to start working a chunk of yellow fondant. I didn't really want yellow fondant, but that's what I had, so I'm just going to use it. So I put parchment paper down. I floured everything with a little bit of powdered sugar. So I powdered sugared everything. My hands, the rolling pin, and I need to get this as flat as I can. And this is going to be the border all around the outside of the cake. And now I need to measure. I measured the height of my cake, so I want to try to get a strip of fondant that is exactly that height. I don't like having seams in cakes, but I'm actually rushing this one because as I'm filming this, the party starts in about 3 hours. And I have a million things to do. This fondant is weird. There was like little gelatin pieces in it. It was very strange. I don't like it. So I'm doing my measuring, marking that off, and using my ruler and the roller cutter to cut straight edges to make my band of fondant for the outside. Now I'm actually just going to cut a couple of caverns, I like to call them, in the cake so that I can depress fondant into it so that I can have a space to glue on my rock candy to make little geodes. Again, I am rushing this so much, but you can see the little cavern there. And another one there. And I'm going to have to roll out a second piece of fondant for the second band, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Roll it out, measure it, cut it, and put it on the other side of the cake. Now I'm going to take the rock candy and crumble it up off of the stick. And this is going to create my geode. I'm going to mix it with some white. I like it when the colors are mixed better. It makes more sense visually. All right, and once that is all done, I'm going to use this dab and hold, which is like a liquid sugar. It acts like an edible glue. And I'm going to go ahead, sorry you don't see me, but I must duck down here to glue these rock candy pieces into the caverns to make it look like geodes. And I'm going to use some shimmer powder and my brush to outline around the indentations. I like to use edible gold paint, but again, I'm taking so many shortcuts. I am just rushing like crazy this whole morning. So just to give it a little shine, it's better than nothing, I figured. And yellow is just a weird color fondant to be working with. But my son won't care. The guests won't care. It'll be beautiful. And here is the cake topper. It is made on edible wafer paper. And I covered his name, but it does have dinosaurs. It says happy fourth birthday and his name. And this is printed on a full sheet of edible wafer paper with edible ink. I used to have a printer. I don't have one anymore, so now I order them. But I'm just going to cut this around since it's on a full sheet, and I'm going to place it, and that icing on the top will act as a glue, and I'm going to completely smooth it out. This is why we needed our icing to be smooth on the top so that the paper is smooth. Cut that off. And now I'm going to fill my, I'm going to take a coupler. So this is how we measure. Let me teach you in case you don't know. Take the inside of the coupler, put it in the bag, run your finger around the ridges, and that's where you know the line to cut. Then you put your tip on. This is a 21 star tip. And then you put the ring on the coupler. I'm going to fill this with chocolate icing because my son said he wanted chocolate icing on top. So I'm just going to go ahead and pipe around the rim here. And just continue all the way around. And that's going to create a nice kind of seal to button up this whole image, I'm going right around the edge. So I'll be covering up where I cut that image as well, and it'll just look finished. So I'm going to go ahead and do that around the top. And once I'm done with the whole top, I will go around to the bottom and do it along the bottom of the cake on the cake board to give it an even more finished look as well. Then I made a little chocolate bundt cake for my son so he can blow out his candle without blowing on the cake. Once the bundt cake is released, I'm going to slice off the top, which will be the bottom, so that it sits better because it rose while baking. And then I'm just going to pipe out some more chocolate frosting on there for him. And for decoration, and to kind of make it match the main cake, I'll go ahead and put some rock candy on here too, like that. And that's him blowing it out with his dinosaur candle holder that was sent to him. And this was his own personal cake to blow out the candle so that he wasn't blowing all over everybody's cake. Here are the side accents of the geode looking stuff. Trust me, the shimmer powder looks better from a distance. Just wanted to show you though. And this is the top. And again, I've cut it off so that you don't see his name, but it gives you an idea. Not my best work, but again, super rushed, super rushed. And then right after this cake was finished, I went ahead and turned to our funfetti cupcakes that I added extra sprinkles to. And now I'm using a Russian tip. This is an 808 macaron tip. So you don't need a coupler. You just need to get the very end of the tip outside of the bag and make sure it's tight. I put loads of sprinkles in vanilla frosting too. I mix them in. So I'll put this whole container into my pastry bag. And then we're just going to quickly ice 24 cupcakes. I think we're down to 2 hours now before the party starts, something like that. But let's just bang these out very quickly until they're all done. And then I'm going to put them on my metal cupcake stand. Those are chocolates I made and little 4 sprinkles and little dinosaur candles. Stay tuned for the next party video, which I will be posting, which shows more of the prep. It shows me making all of the little chocolates for the cupcakes and for favors, the goodie bags, and a whole bunch more, as much as I could film. So thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, stay blessed, my friends.